Hi everyone, it's Susan Winter here. Thank you so much for joining me on my YouTube channel today. My fantastic followers and subscribers, thank you so much. If you like what you see today, please click the subscribe button, push the little bell so you can get notifications of this and other videos that I have coming up during the week. I'm going to introduce you to a new dating term that I am going to release and coin and define today for you. I call it praise bombing. Praise bombing. Yes. This is a technique that I have noticed that is a side door seduction technique used to create attraction and interest in somebody that you wouldn't have noticed. They're not on your radar because you're not in a dating environment with them. So we all know the term love bombing, right? Love bombing is when you're chatting with somebody online or you're sleeping with them, you're seeing them, and they really accelerate the relationship because they move you very quickly to love because they start futurizing and telling you they've never felt like this before. They're dropping love bombs and they accelerate your emotional feeling for them. Praise bombing happens in a non-dating environment. Now, you may have heard me talk about this a little bit, somebody that's doing it to me, and I haven't really released the term, but I've decided that we need to talk about it. We have new dating terms. It's not necessarily bad, but my girlfriend, I actually have to thank Lisa Faye, who is the founder of Clarity. It's a dating app. It's kind of like a one-stop shopping, everything you need to know resource for dating and relationships. I'll put her information below here. But we were on the phone earlier and she's like, Susie, I am so tired of hearing you talk about these really cool terms only a year later to read somebody in an article who has coined the phrase because they wrote about it. So I don't do writing anymore. It's too long, so I'm going to tell you what praise bombing is. Praise bombing is somebody who approaches you and they flood you with very specific praise about something for which you already esteem within yourself. It is not coming from a dating environment. This could be a coworker who strategically commends you in excess on the job that you did, how wonderful it was, and they're very targeted in how they praise you. It could be somebody that's read a book of yours, and I'll give you a very concrete example of that. It could be somebody that's listened to your podcast, that's watched your work, seen your paintings, heard you sing, see the effect that you've made in your community garden. They acknowledge the profound impact that you've had with your dog rescue, but they give you a compliment, and it's targeted because it's something that you really value about yourself. So what this does to us is it makes us receptive and open to recognize this person that formerly was not on our radar. It's not like we were chatting them up online. It's not like we're dating them. Suddenly now we feel warmly toward them because actually, they think we're wonderful. What's not to like? This is something very human in our nature. We all want to be appreciated. We want to be loved. We want to be praised. We want people to see the things for which we work so hard, the things for which we esteem within ourselves. Praise bombing is a great technique if you want to use it, but it has to be real. It has to be true. It is not effective. Like any con, and this is not necessarily a game, it is a technique to warm up the person, to butter them up, but it's got to be real or it's never going to work. So I'll give you an example of something. I knew a guy a while back who wrote a seminal book on an intersection between modern technology and psychology and spirituality. It was really quite good. And I have to be vague about this to protect him because what I'm telling you is he shared with me in private. So he mentions in the book about his divorce and about being single. He happens to also be very good looking, right? So when he travels and he does speeches, he's got his little entourage of groupie girls, the wannabes, right? They're the fangirls. So he got a blizzard of emails from a woman who lived abroad who went into very detailed praise bombing of his work, line by line, what she thought when she read it, how she felt when she read it. She seduced him without ever being a date. It had the desired effect. He did indeed send her a ticket from her impoverished and economically challenged country to the United States, and she stayed with him for an extended period of time. He fell madly in love with her because she was praise bombing him. She was noticing everything inside himself that he valued, everything he stood for, everything he thought was positive and wonderful about his contribution. Now, she turned out to be toxic, broke his heart, and he had to get rid of her. But if she had written him a letter, not knowing him, saying, hey, I'm from an impoverished country, I'd really like a ticket to the US, I'd kind of like to stay with you, I think you're cute, and I'm going to use this book as a portal, he would have never said yes. So she already created a deep connection. Now, that was a little bit of a con, but let's say that it's really happening to you. Somebody is commending you right now and flirting with you on something that you value. You have to admit, suddenly, they're kind of cute. Suddenly, you're thinking, I wonder, they already appreciate me. Isn't this a basis for a relationship? Praise bombing is a real thing. It is an entry to get the attention of somebody. It is a way in which somebody garners our attention with whom we didn't anticipate having a romance. But it can catalyze those feelings because every human being wants to love and be loved and feel valuable. It's very important for us. So maybe somebody's doing this to you now. If so, write me, let me know what they're saying, how they're doing it, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. But praise bombing is a real thing, and it's kind of Pavlovian. We get fed this positive reinforcement of this wonderful version of ourselves, and who doesn't want to come back for seconds? Thank you, everyone. Susan Winter for SusanWinter.net. If you want to work with me, I would love to work with you. Please, you can enter your information on the consultation page, book a session. If you want to read my books, I've got Allowing Magnificence and Breakup Triage. And I'd love to have you sign up for my newsletter. That way I can get a hold of you and let you know what countries I'm being in and what seminars I'm doing, things like that. That's at SusanWinter.net at the homepage. I don't sell your information. I don't do anything bad with it. You can unsubscribe at any time. Just want to get to know you and have a closer communication. Thank you, everyone.